Welcome to part 2 of our replacing or installing a pool heater series. This video will show us how to both remove an old heater as well as install a new one. Now, since I'm replacing one in this video, I can only talk to you conceptually about installing one if you didn't have one before, but after watching, you should be able to get a really good understanding of what you'll need if that's the route that you're taking. So stay tuned and let's get right into it. We'll start by shutting off the pump and any breakers to any other components that you have. This particular pool has another heater, so we're going to shut down that breaker as well as the breaker to the pool pump. Now, your first step is going to be disconnecting the electrical. You can do it a variety of ways. One will be to remove it from the inside, like I'm doing here as we remove the panel. The other will be to do it from the breaker, which would be the easier route. Since we're replacing this pool heater, we weren't sure if we were going to be reusing those same wires or not, so we did it from the actual pool heater itself. But if you were to do it from the breaker, you would start by disconnecting the ground here, as well as both hots here and here. The same rings true if you're going to be removing it from inside the panel. After you've tested it with a voltage tester or something similar, you'll remove the two hots as well as the ground, which is the green, and then remove it or pull it out of the heater like we're doing here. If yours is bolted to a concrete pad or on some pavers, now's a good time to remove those bolts or unscrew them. Next, we'll get a pair of grips here and we're going to release the inflow and outflow pipes. They do have quite a bit of pressure on them, so it was much easier using these. Expect a little bit of water to come out of the pipes, but it stops pretty soon, and then after that, you are completely free to remove the heater. As you can see, this one is very heavy and it took 2 people and a dolly to get it out of there. We are very much looking forward to installing the newer, lighter, and much more energy efficient pump. But first, we're going to have to move some of these pipes back, and let's go over the plumbing schematics via the diagram first. Now, if you don't have a pool heater, then your plumbing schematics are going to look something like this. If you are adding a heater with no existing plumbing, then you will be splicing into your plumbing like this. After the filter, you'll add an inflow and an outflow to get the pipes running in and out of the heater. The valves are optional, but highly recommended. We didn't put them on right now, but stay tuned for that video later because it is something that we're going to do. And in my opinion, it is something you'll want. This is to prevent the heat pump from cycling water through it 24/7, even when the heater is off. If you're doing this, you would add 3 valves that look like this. The first valve allows you to send the water directly into the heat pump, while closing the other 2 valves and leaving that first one open allows you to bypass it. You want one on both the inflow and outflow in order to prevent water from flowing in here when you're trying to bypass it. And if you have no bypass, then it's going to look like this, minus the valves, of course, with water flowing in and water flowing out 24/7. This doesn't mean that the heater is on, but water is still passing through it and its components. Now, this heat pump is a 40,000 BTU heater capable of heating up to 13,000 gallons and even more when the temperature outside is warmer. They make various size heaters, so if you don't need one this big, I would highly recommend checking out the smaller and less expensive ones as well. But the warmer the temperature is outside, the easier it is to heat and automatically reduces energy via its smart inverter to save you money. So it could heat or cool larger volumes of water depending on the season or the ambient temperature outside. I did install the VARMINPOOL pool pump at my father-in-law's house, and I highly recommend it. Now, you will want a traditional pool pump that can push greater than 1,500 gallons per hour through it. Now, what I love about this heater is it's incredibly quiet at 48 decibels and incredibly light at only 134 pounds. It also requires a downgrade in breakers from 60 amp to 15 amp breakers because of how much less energy it requires. This one is also Wi-Fi compatible, which I will show you how to set up at the end, but let's get right into installing it. First, we'll add the condensate drain line, which goes on the bottom and simply plugs in like this. The inlet and outlet for the new heat pump are much more convenient and on the back of the heater. So we cut these pipes back a little bit with the Sawzall and simply line them up to be attached from behind. If you're reinstalling a heater, you will likely need to do this no matter what because it's highly unlikely your ports are in identical locations. So we use standard primer and plumbing cement to attach the elbows and pipes leading directly into the heat pumps. The attachments that come with the heater are incredibly easy to use and twist on and off in just a matter of moments. So this is what our plumbing ended up looking like, and as you can see, the water runs directly in and out without any valves, but that's an easy fix that we will take care of in the next couple of weeks. But for time purposes, again, we didn't tackle that this weekend. Now, running the electric is the exact opposite of disconnecting it like we did earlier. You have two hot wires and a ground. These come already sheathed and with no need for an additional conduit running into the breaker box or the panel or the heater like the other heater did. And as I mentioned earlier, we did have to downgrade the breakers from 60 to 15 amp, and that is to protect the pump in case of an electrical surge. 60 amps is too great and would not shut the heater off because it's only a 12 or 14 amp system. After you get the 3 wires screwed in, flip the breaker and she should power up. It comes with a weatherproof cover and is easy to use from the actual controller on the heater. However, downloading the app and using the Wi-Fi is 10 times more easy due to having more buttons, a larger display, and just more options from your phone than from the heat pump or the heater itself. So you can see how easy it is to set the temperature. The large display on the face there is the degrees of the water coming into the pipes, which in our case was already quite high at 86 degrees from the previous heater running. But a user can share controls via the Wi-Fi as shown here once that device has paired with the heater. The app is completely user-friendly. The instruction manual also provides the QR code to download the app, making it even easier. You can slide the temperature to the heating or cooling temperature that you want. You can set the schedule to run on specific days and times. You can even set the heater to turn on only when your pool pump turns on, which is an important point to note that you should only be running this heater when your pool pump is turned on. Now, we set the temperature to 100 degrees to test it, and it only took about 12 to 18 hours to reach that temperature. But again, I am here in Florida, so our starting pool water this time of year is already quite high. However, in the winter months and when it rains a lot, the water dips pretty low. So we're anticipating about 24 to 36 hours to heat this entire pool. But overall, I hope you found this helpful. It is really simple to install. It's really simple to operate. I've had VARMINPOOL products before and I am very impressed with them. So I'm really looking forward to the longevity of this heater. And if you're in the market for new heaters such as this one, give it a shot. I really don't think that you're going to be disappointed. Reach out anytime with questions or concerns and have a great day.